Come on. Let me put on this. So it's gonna go dead for a minute. Oh, I need to. Okay, no, I did. Hello. I think I'm on now. I might be on. I'm on. All right. Hello, beautiful people. Hey, Ho Squad. Hey, Ho Nation. If you're watching me later on, don't forget to leave a comment. What up, Lou? Hey, Ho. Hey. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, handsome. Hey. Y'all can say, hey, girl. Hey to me, though, because I'm still a girl. And now I'll say, hey, handsome. I got you. I got to do some more content for the fellas. But it's Friday nights. We will see who comes on here, if anybody does. Maybe y'all all got a life, unlike me right now. I have been told you won't get a life until you take your ass out. And I'm still debating that. Do I really want to do that? And the only reason why I say that is because I had to dress up. I got to put on some shoes. The main issue now is shoes. I don't be feel like I have gotten into comfy shoes, and I don't know if I can get out of them. I mean, because, hey, Sylvia, I keep seeing your name. I'm going to send it back out. One of these days, I'm going to remember. I should do that now. Anyway. Anyhow, anywho. Things that are happening. It's Friday night. Why are we all out living the best lives, doing our best things, doing all that? What am I looking for? Oh, I'm supposed to be doing a night. I know. Sylvia, I'm a terrible person. But I'm actually getting some new ones. She got a really cool collection. So I might wait. Yeah. Because I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible person. Oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, it's Saturday. I mean, is it Saturday? It's not Saturday, thank God. No, it's not. Let me be honest. I'm forgetful. It's not busy. It's forgetful as fuck. Every time I see you, I go, let me do this shit. And then I forget again. I'm just being honest. Let's do a little eye patch while we're talking. Because I'm trying to use things that I have. So this is the Tony Moly Plumpkin Retinol eye patches. I always do retinol. Oh no, retinol is a nice thing. Well, I was about to confuse myself. Because you can't do retinol and vitamin C at the same time. So I'm working on that. I need to just write it down. That's what I need to do. I need to get some Post-its in the house. Because I have Post-its at work. I should have Post-its at home and post little notes to myself to remind myself to do shit. Because I think that's the only way I'm going to get shit done. Okay. Let's put us on something. Right, because you're supposed to do retinols at night. If you're doing some vitamin C, that's during the day. So let's get this puppy on. Let her sit on for a little bit. Do some work. What is that? Okay. Do ahead. And I do like Tony Moly. So this is late night. Ain't no telling what I feel like talking about because I have no clue what I'm talking about tonight. It all depends on how long I stay on and what kind of craziness comes into my head as I'm sitting here doing my skincare. So when I say late night LuuLuu, I tend to be a little off. I can't remember to do these in the morning. I can't remember. But then I do use a retinoid eye cream. I just gotta figure this life. I have to figure this skincare routine out. But let's do something about these. I do like these though because they stick. You know how you have some of these eye patches that you put them on and then they slide down your face? These have a good stick-to-itiveness to it. Ignore the cat in the background. She thinks that I should lay down now because she wants me to lay down. This is all about her needs, not mine. Oh my goodness. While we're sitting here, I should talk about this next Sunday, but I'm going to talk about it then too. I have been wearing this At This Time by Cat Fragrances. This is such a comfy, cozy scent. Hey, Valencia, I don't even like lavender, but this doesn't. It's got lavender. I checked it. It's got lavender and lavender absolute in it, but it doesn't smell like that. It's got this kind of almost sweet, soft, powdery vibe. The lavender is very subtle because I can't stand. I like the medicinal properties of lavender, but I do not like it as a scent to wear. I know people like it, but no, it's not. It's not a scent for me at all, at all, at all. So, but this I've been wearing it at night because I'm gonna put it on before I go to sleep. It's a very just cozy, vibe to wear to go to sleep with. So that's what I've been wearing on the last few days. Just thought I'd share. Yeah, I know people like, oh, the only other lavender I have, I think pretty much, I got a few things that have it, but they all have to be lavenders that it's not really strong. Of course, Lavender's Trianine by Maison Lancome. But other than that, I don't mess with the lavenders. At all. Okay, so we're gonna let these sit here for a minute. Then we're gonna go to the next part of our skincare. Cause this is, if for people wondering, this is Plumpkin Retinol Eye Patches by Tony Moly. You know them Korean skincare brands. They always have these like cutesy kind of stuff. See, I can't even do a lavender room linen spray because I don't want the smell. I don't like the smell of it that much. Bianca, my daughter, likes lavender because she actually bought a small bottle of Lavender Extreme by Tom Ford. We found it at the CCO store a while ago. We went looking for it for her because I had like a decant of it, and she was like, "Oh my god, she likes it. I don't." It smells like my grand. See, you know what I think also because I identify that with my grandmother's house because she used to love her some Yardley's English lavender. I know some of y'all old enough to know Yardley's English lavender, and she used to have the soap and the powder, and it just smells like an old person's house to me. And and I'm not that person to be like, oh, it's an old smelling, because how can I say something? Right? See, it's when that lavender is overwhelming. It's gonna stink. Lavender is not a fragrance that I like. I understand the medicinal properties in lavender, so I will have it in things. Like I used to have a lavender tea that was good, but it was like a lavender vanilla. Now that was good. But like I'll have it, I'll grow it outside for the purposes of, you know, keeping bugs away and things like that. And bee likes lavender. So I try to grow lavender for. But other than hell no, I want no damn lavender. Okay, I'm gonna get this like one more minute and then I'm off with these. Yeah, these got a nice little stick to itness to it. It's like, no, thank you. I don't need that. These dry out really quickly too, which is kind of good when it comes down to these little things. It's like the product inside, that's on there, it has a little thickness to it. And so it's not as runny. I know y'all really want to get up to my eyeball like that. I know that. I know that. I know that. Y'all, let me tell you. I told y'all. Yeah, I told y'all that. Okay, so let me tell y'all something else that she's still waiting for me to reach out to her. I can't tell y'all. I'm gonna do that on the members live because I got a story about somebody and I know this person watches me sometimes, so I can't say nothing. Just being honest. But it's like you want to, and you like, ooh, they might hear what I'm talking about them. So let's not do that. Okay. I'm still waiting to see how this. I had to remember. I was like, oh yeah, they might hear the story I'm telling. So let me stop. I want to talk about them, but I don't want to know I'm talking about them. Hey Courtney, you know how it is. You talk about somebody, but you don't necessarily want them to know you're talking about them. You want to have a kiki about them, but not for them to know. Just being honest. I mean, I want to kiki about your ass, but I don't want you to know about it. And there we have it. Y'all know. But I can tell this one because I know this person don't watch me because barely talks to me. So let me tell y'all what I said on Facebook. This is over a week ago. I did a post on Facebook because I was looking around. I'm trying to, straighten out my life up in this room. I don't necessarily want to straighten up my life because what the fuck? It's going to take too much time. I just want to straighten out my room. And y'all know what I'm talking about. We ain't trying to straighten out our lives that much. We just want to straighten out the fucking room, okay? So I was saying that I need to do a declutter party. I told you it's late night and you can't tell what the fuck I'm gonna say. So I said I need to declutter stuff, right? And I was like, I just need to do a declutter party. Come by, pick up some shit. Because I found a shoebox. I kid you not. I found a shoebox of makeup. Primarily cheek products like blush and highlighters. Just sitting here. Probably got some other stuff in there. And then I was looking over at these and I said, my eyeshadows, I said, nah, let's just be honest. We're not going to wear a lot of these anymore. So I could do with some more editing, clear some stuff out. Knowing me, there'll be a clear out and then a buy in. We do the clear out and then we buy in. So, but I'm not doing it at that level anymore. It's really chilling. So anyway, I posted this up. I said, because I got a lot of body care, makeup, perfume that y'all could just get this out of my hair at this point. I ain't even trying to sell the shit. I just want it gone. Y'all know how, that's the reality of sometimes you just need to get shit out. Like today, we finally decluttered the kids' shoes. Now I did pull a few pair because they were brand new. The kids never got to wear them. Like, cause we found a whole pair of shoes that Blake, I found 2 pair of shoes that Blake didn't wear. And because their feet don't grow a lot, like the girls, like Brooklyn, she wears shoes out because her foot has not grown a lot. She's what she's 3 and she's wearing like a size 7 toddler. Blake just got into a 4 toddler, which is really hard to buy shoes for her. Now she's at a 4, it's a little bit better because at that small of a foot, they think you're a baby, not walking like she is. So we were going through the shoes. I said, we got to get rid of these shoes and see what they need. Cause y'all know I'm the grandmother. I buy shit. So we were going through the shoes and it was like, ain't no point in talking about who can we give them to. They didn't wear these shoes out. Like Kari wear the hell out of his gym shoes, his sneakers. So we were throwing them out, And so that's the whole thing. Sometimes it ain't about, oh, let me find some place to give away something. It's been worn to death. So anyway, I was saying that I would declutter because like, some stuff I ain't got time to be trying to sell. Just take it away. Like Bath and Body Works. Come and get this shit. Come and get it. So I did that. I just posted up like maybe I should have a declutter party. Girls come together, we declutter. Oh, that would be kind of cute. A declutter meetup at a little restaurant or something. What y'all think? Ain't that kind of cute? So anyway, saying this woman who's on my Facebook inboxes me. And I know she's like in North Carolina. So she was like, hey, now of course, now mind you, it ain't like she talks to me. But it was like, hey, about the, I'm really interested in your declutter. I'll pay for shipping. But then I got to ship. That's the point. This is very low. I just want to put the stuff out and I want it gone. And the reason why I said the declutter party was because pre-pandemic, we had a gender reveal, which we didn't plan on having, but Brandon wanted to do a gender reveal. So we had this gender reveal for Bakari. And at the gender reveal, I had a makeup case that was full of lipsticks from when I was doing all that beauty content. You buy stuff, you swatch it, you're done. So I would, when I would declutter lipsticks, and especially because I would buy a whole range of brand new, drugstore lipstick stuff come out. So it was like, listen, I would do this every once in a while, and it would be like 400 or 500 tubes of lipstick. I'm not even going to exaggerate about it. So it was about 400 or 500 lipsticks in this makeup case, and right, exactly. I'm not going to the post office. So at this party, I just said, "Ooh, it's all these women here." And I just said, "Hey, y'all." And I put it on the table and opened it up. I said, "Feel free to take whatever you want." Now, the funny thing was, it was some people from B's job because her and Brandon worked together. That's how they met. And these little girls was like, "This is the best party ever," because everybody was leaving. Who was there was leaving with like handfuls of lip products, right? So that was my point. So now I'm like, ooh, declutter party. Let's just take this shit someplace. Let's just have people come over. And if the weather was still good, I would do that because I don't want you in my house. Just come to the backyard, pick up this shit and go. Okay, I digressed as always. So anyway, she says that, and then I came back because she said perfume, and I said, well, I said the perfumes I have, and I'm just being honest with people. The perfumes that I have, you probably don't know them. And it's not like these are brands, things you might know. Cause like I have Van Cleef and Arpels Incense Presu here. The ones that I have left that are just sitting here, you wouldn't even know what they were. So you would need to smell them before I'm, like, come on now. It's not like I'm going to be doing Valentina Born Aroma, because I'm just being honest, and this is no shade to anybody, but the majority of people won't know what I have because it's not like I buy things that are super popular too much. And the things that are popular that I have, I like most of it. Because when I finally buy something popular, I kind of like, So I was like, you're not going to know the stuff that I have. So she was like, and then she shoots back, what about the makeup? Okay, I'm really not going to do that. Because you're talking about powder cheek products. So that means I got to wrap them up really good, each one, to make sure I get it to you and it's good. And I bet you wasn't like, okay, then take the whole, no. And then it's going, no, absolutely not. No, that's too much work. I was like, I didn't even respond to that part. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen at all. So I'm like, girl, no, I ain't Sephora, I ain't Ulta. Cause I'm talking about doing something free. Just like if I declutter any of this, cause y'all know it's shelves of eyeshadow. I gotta get rid of some of this shit. I have three shelves of eyeshadow. I can get rid of, and I'm very like minimal. Which reminds me, I have a whole video about makeup that I have not put up. But anyway, that's another story. So I was like, no, thank you. So it's always like the stupid requests that people make of you, and it's like, did you really think I was gonna do that? I'm not near you. Like if she had been in Chicago, I'd been like, girl, come on by. I'll give you this whole box. You can go through it, decide what you want. But if I'm trying to declutter, I'm not trying to inconvenience myself. Unless I'm selling it to you, which reminds me, Court, I'll be sending that to you this weekend. I don't have time for that. I just don't have the time, the patience. No, I ain't got none of that for that. It's like, girl, bye. No, ma'am, we're not doing this. And so that's why I was like, yeah, okay. And of course, I'm never gonna hear from you again because all you saw was I posted up something and you saw, ooh, I can get something for free. I don't ever talk to this person. I don't really interact with her. But she said she giving away some stuff, so I'm gonna get it. And it's like, okay. Michael, what was my scent of the day? I didn't even ask that. Hey, what's y'all scent of the day? I'll tell you what mine is. And it's let me just say this. It was supposed to be this, which is Koi Surohito by Dreamhouse Curio, which is a cherry fragrance. And it's a beautiful cherry fragrance because it's a bright cherry, like, ooh, it just smells like you just got your nose in a bag of cherries. And it doesn't have almond or anything. It's a bright cherry, right? That's what I was planning on wearing. And I put on some cherry body cream I got. So I was like, ooh, yeah. But then somehow I grabbed this one, which is called Memoirs of a Dream, which is a floral fragrance. Yeah, it's like a jasmine. Ooh, Chanel. Wait a minute. Janny by Sora Dora. Sora Dora had a moment, but I haven't really been hearing people talking about it. Ooh, look at you with this Coral Mandal by Chanel. Ain't you fancy? Ain't you fancy? Ooh, you. Now that is country club rich white woman fragrance, if I've ever heard of one. Anything Chanel is it is a rich white woman fragrance. There's no two ways about it. Either you're a young rich white woman or you are an older rich white woman. Because the weather is finally starting to cool off. Here today's was Candyman from Dreamhouse Security. I do like Candyman. I have Candyman Somium, which is his new one. Where is it at? I think it's still upstairs. Did I bring it up here downstairs? I don't know what I did with it. It's actually good. You know, he got a sale. Buy one, get one free right now. He being real shady and being quiet, but yeah, he has a sale until November 2nd. But yeah, it was okay. Did I just put some on my face? No, I pulled it out and then I didn't put it on. Oh, see, this is what I'm saying. Forgetful. This is old. This is me with old age. Ooh. Let me tell y'all what happened at work today. I can tell this because I can keep about somebody who don't even know I don't have a YouTube channel. Okay. I'm gonna keep about somebody at my job. Hooey. Okay. I bet white women do because you smell like a rich white woman. So they identify that. You're not. No, you're not. You gonna get you something, sir. You just go and get it. Just stop playing. Stop playing. Go and get. Do I have to tell you what you're gonna get? Okay. Whew. Anyway, anywho, now I got this on. Okay, 26 minutes. We'll do this at about 36. Next layer. Okay, so okay, let me tell y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna have to give y'all a little background so you understand why this is hilarious. Okay. I am what's called now a learning behavior specialist, which means I'm a special ed teacher. And y'all know I'm a math teacher. There's no whole other story I won't tell y'all, but okay. So now working in a middle school is totally different than working in a high school. Because and I'm talking about elementary. Because these schools are small, much smaller than being in a high school. Okay. Which means that my class sizes are smaller. So for me, this is like, whoo, yay. I mean, like, overall for the day, I see 15 students a day. I could see 15 students in one period. I had periods with up to like 14 students teaching by myself. Now, when you're in high school, you just have your schedule, just like any other teacher, right? I'm teaching this period, I'm teaching that. And it can be a combination of either all self-contained, which means you're only dealing in a small setting, your small classroom, or you're in a co-taught class too, which means that I'm in a gen ed class and I'm teaching with a gen ed teacher because there are students that need support in there. Okay, so that's that. Now, because I am in a middle school and it's a small middle school, I got my own room. It's huge. And they call it pull out in the middle schools. It's either push in or pull out. Well, I do pull out. For one thing, the little gen ed teacher, he feels like anybody who has IEP, they shouldn't be in this class. So, but that's fine because I don't want to be in this class anyway. I want to be in my room. So the periods that I have students, they with me. Now remember, I'm only teaching 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I have, their classes. I got small classes, whatever. So now, of course, there's a person who does the ELA. So remember I said it's called push it. They say push in, pull out, right? Well, are y'all still there? Is this boring you all? Because I'm about to give y'all some technical things. let me know. But as a teacher of with someone, students, there's things called minutes, and they're supposed to get so many minutes per week, which means that I'm supposed to be teaching them. Now, for me, that's cool because I'm in a smaller room. I got a few students. I do my thing, whatever. Right. So we got this. I have a counterpart. She teaches ELA. Our rooms are right next to each other. This is the hilarious part. She's a newer teacher, right? This is like maybe her second or third year teaching. But of course, this is my first year there. First off, she done found a way to make them, they done gave her a title. And she is the lead learning specialist teacher on this floor. It's only two of us, y'all. It's only two of us. Now, here's the thing. I have noticed this because our rooms are right next to each other. So our doors are next to each other. I had noticed a few things. Like, now, this is a whole new world for school, y'all. We are older people. Let me just tell you, one of the whole new things about school now is that these kids are not on time. I cannot play with y'all. These kids are not on time. From middle school, they're not on time. So my students, I only got 2 first thing in the morning. So my 2 students are always a little late, right? Now, she's supposed to, so it's kind of like you mirror your students are that grade level that's in that class. So for instance, I start the day teaching 8th graders. There's 2 8th grade classes and I have them back to back because that's the rotation for them in middle school, right? They have, and then I have 6th graders and then I have 7th graders because that's the way they rotate into math. So that's how I pull out my students. They come to me as opposed to going to the gen ed class. So giving y'all that. So now hers is first period. She has 8th graders like me because she has the other 8th grade class. And then because of the way the rotation works, she has 6th graders second period. Now, like I said, these kids are always late. But what she does though, she has this history, and I've watched her do it. She comes late to first thing in the morning, and she lives closer than I do to the school, so she's late a lot. Plus, she would like not get her students and leave them in with the gen ed teacher. So the gen ed teacher, she's cool with them being there, but then it's kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? And I have literally seen her, like I got students in my classroom. So you should have students because we all got the same schedule. We have the same prep. It's not like in high school where you have different prep times and everything. The way it works is the whole middle school has the same schedule. We have the same time we have lunch. We have the same prep period. So we're all on the same schedule, right? Baby, I've seen her with no students in her room, cleaning her room, just teeing around, right? Well, apparently people have started noticing that she doesn't always have students in her classroom. So she's been getting questioned. And now, so basically she don't be doing shit. But she leans into the fact that we're learning specialists and says, well, I was busy doing this and I was working on that. No, you weren't. You were just chilling. I can see you. Girl, and then the way she's done it is like my desk is, when you walk past my room, you can see my desk. And that is a conditioning I have from working with in high schools, because I've always had my desk someplace that, anybody could walking past could see. So there's no misconception of what's going on in my classroom. You know what I'm saying? Because these kids will lie on you. So I've always had my desk position where you can see me through that window in the door. This is just something I do. Her desk is in the back of the room, way away from the window, because we got big windows. This is an old school. But so if I step out, I can see it, and she'll just be sitting at her desk. I'm like, where your students at? And so she's always talking about, oh, we gotta do this, but you're not doing it. And so my case manager, he didn't just told me, he was like, well, I kind of wanted you here to like, school her, since you've been around and doing things. I was like, but if she don't ask me, I can't tell her, you know? So anyway, apparently they've been like kind of on her, like, where are you at? What's your schedule? Now, mind you, her schedule is what it should be. But apparently some people notice, but wait, these students ain't in here. This room is empty. So anyway, today is Friday. Now, remember, there's only 4 gen ed teachers. It's a science teacher, a math teacher, social studies, which is my daughter, and an English teacher. It's a 4-person rotation for these kids. Did I tell y'all the science teacher walked out and quit? So there's no science teacher right now. They're waiting to get one, but the science teachers quit. So they've been having problems getting subs because the 7th grade class, that's the ones that's in there the first thing in the morning. These little kids so fucking wild. He the reason why he quit. They're the reason why he quit. Baby, subs and then walked out on their ass. I cannot make this up. One sub, she didn't last first period with their ass. She said they too disrespectful. They cursed and they doing this. I ain't got time for this. And she walked out. Went back downstairs, said, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out this piece. Deuces, right? Because they are. These kids are a new breed, y'all. They're a new breed. So there was no sub today. They couldn't get a sub in there for this science class. And so when this happens, they break up the 7th grade, and they like take that class, and with the English, math, and social studies teachers, they break up the class and put them with them. So it's like, they take some of the 7th grade, each teacher takes some of them, and the rotation changes. And of course, there's no science class that day. So on top of it, today, the 8th graders were going on a field trip in the morning. They weren't going to be back till lunchtime. Now, what that means for me is that the first period they were with me, the 2 that I have, and then the next period I have 8th graders, and they were going to be leaving during that period. So they weren't going to come to me. They were just going to sit in their class and wait to go on this field trip, right? So when all this is going on, so that means like I kind of don't have a class that period, right? And then we have what's called our prep, while the kids go to do things, their enrichment classes, which is gym and all this kind of stuff. So we have that. Then I do 2 classes. I have a prep period, which means that's like a break to do things. Then I have another class. Then they have lunch and recess. So that's like my lunch is then, which is about an hour, close to an hour, because they do lunch and recess, which I love being at. So we all have the schedule. So she comes up to me, we have to figure out our schedule for today, right? And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, well, we have to figure out our schedule for today. I'm like, because we have to make sure they get their minutes. And this. So she's talking to me like this. And I'm like, what? I'm like, well, the 8th graders are going on a trip, so I'm not going to have no students then. Hallelujah. Some extra time off to do something. Hallelujah. But she's like, no, we have to have them because so she's like, and I'm looking at her like she fucking crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, when the 8th graders leave, that's my class, right? That's the whole point. So usually, because we do get our students, so when students are in math, that's when they come to me. So you know what I'm saying? So if the 6th grade class is in math, my 6th grade students come to me because they're having math. So I'm like, well, I was just going to do the regular rotation that's here. And then, since I ain't got 8th graders, I'm good to go. And she's like, no, because, see, you don't understand is that if you don't have any students in your room, they're going to question you. Like, what are you doing? Hey, Nisha. I was like, I'm looking at her like, no, the fuck, they not going to question me. No, they not. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll stop. And she's just looking at me like, we have to make the schedule. And I'm looking at her like, bitch, if you don't get away from me, you're doing too much. But I forgot there's this issue with her with not having students in the room. I ain't got that problem. So now with all this, the assistant principal comes up to me because I'm supposed to have a meeting with her before because I have to have my first, I have 2 formal observations every year, right? Now, let me tell you what she was doing. It gets even funnier, Valencia. So I'm having this formal observation. I had to have this quick meeting with her, and we're going to have it during my prep. Okay, cool. However, she calls the phone knowing that we are having this field trip, right? She calls a lady who's upstairs because she couldn't find my number. She didn't have my number. This one of the teachers, she called her and said, hey, can you ask her, can we have our meeting at 9:15? And I said, sure, because now I don't have any students right now, which means that, yes, let's do this right now so then I can have a little bit longer during this prep. So I ain't got to talk to you then. So anyway, she's like, can you meet me at 9:15 in this room downstairs? Because remember, I'm on the 3rd floor of a building with no damn elevator. Baby, my thighs are getting kind of toned up though, because it's like doing steppers. It's like I have a step machine. Because if I go downstairs, then I got to come back up them bitches. Okay. So anyway, I'm like, sure, we can meet up at 9:15. Okay. So now I go downstairs. It's 9:15. So, it's like, this was like 10 minutes. So I run downstairs at 9:15 to wait for her in this room. Now, this room wasn't her office. It's like the staff room where we have meetings. So it's like the staff meeting room. So I'm sitting there, and so I'm kind of like sitting there and I'm like, damn, where's she at? So I'm like, I literally was sitting there for like 10 minutes. I said, well, maybe maybe I'm in the wrong room. Maybe I'm supposed to be in her office, which is a little bit down the hall. So as I step out, I look down the hallway and I see her talking to this woman. And the woman had a coat on. I'm like, what she got a coat on for? So what happened was she decided she was going to go on the field trip. Now, what happened? So she was going to chaperone this field trip. Now, this field trip has already been planned. It was with the creative arts teacher. And they were going to this opera. Apparently, this is where they were going. But she already had her chaperones. It was 2 of our SICAs, which are our classroom assistants. They already knew they were going on this trip with her because this was one of them was my SICA. And she told me, hey, I'm going on this trip. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it was this lady and these 2 SICAs. The class is only like altogether maybe 20 something kids. So apparently she sees her and she's coming out. And so I'm like, what's going on? Because I see them talking. So I step back in like, oh shit. And at that moment, my seeker was like, girl, she called me. I was like, what is going on? Why? She said, because this woman came marching down like, I'm going on this trip. And so she was like, where are you going? And she was like, well, I was asked to chaperone this trip. Didn't nobody ask her? Didn't nobody ask her? She asked, could she go along? See what now I found out she had asked, can I go? Ooh, would I be able to go? And I guess the teacher who was in charge was like, yeah, I guess you could go. So she was like, she had planned on going. And the assistant principal was like, no. She was like, there's enough chaperones for the amount of students. Because the way it works when you're doing things like this, you have to have for every 10 students, you need an adult chaperone. This is just like the standard, right? Well, they got 3 and it's only 20 something kids. So apparently she was like, no, you don't need to go. There's enough people to chaperone this. And apparently they was going back and forth about it because she's like, well, you know, so she was really trying to go on this trip, y'all. And then so it became like a thing. And so she appeared because I'm like, damn, they've been down there talking for a minute. Because when I saw them, they were still down there 5 more minutes before she came into my meeting. So, but see, that's because they got away with it this last time. Because, okay, so B did a field trip. And here's a, right, right. And so, but see what happened. Let me tell y'all the story before this one. And the AP don't even know this. A few of us, I know. So B did this trip because she's a history teacher. So so the thing about the school I'm at, it's really wild. So if you want to, they want you to do stuff like give field trips, but they don't do it for you. So you have to plan it out. You have to order a bus. You have to do all these things. You have to collect the money. You have to do all that yourself. As the teacher, I've never seen this done like this in years, because usually they don't want teachers collecting money. They want that money to go to like the office and stuff. And nowadays, some places even are cashless because like Kari school is cashless. They go on a trip, they got a whole system and you send the money and then that's it. Okay, so anyway, so they had this trip. So it was for the whole middle school. Now, me, I don't like to go on trips if I don't have to. So I am always one of them people who be like, I can stay behind with the kids that can't go. Kids that are in trouble or didn't get their permission slip signed. I'll stay with them. Because usually the kids who are told they can't go on a trip for like bad behavior, a lot of times they don't show up anyway. So it's a good day for me. It's a win-win. I just sit in this room with these kids for a little while. It's usually like a handful that wind up staying, and I ain't got to walk around with these badass kids, and I ain't got to be responsible for these badass kids out in public. Win-win for me. So I had already said I'll stay back with these kids. I'm quick to say I will stay back with these little motherfuckers. So it was a bunch of kids that at first that didn't turn in their permission slips, and it was $5 per student to help pay for the bus. So the day of the field trip, it was quite a few kids that couldn't go. Baby, her and the gen ed math teacher saw that, we're gonna have to stay here with these kids because it was too many of them. They got to, because nowadays you can do text permission. Like you can reach out to a parent via text and they can say, yes, I give permission, and you can print that up based on the phone number and put it on file if you have to. So they texting parents, calling them to get, text permission. And her and the gen ed math teacher paid for some students to go so they could get out of school. Now, let me tell you, the gen ed math teacher, he thought he was slick. Y'all, they said he was like, I'm going to drive down and meet you all. Now, his ass was not coming. Because she was the one who was heading up there. She's like, no, you have to get on the bus. He really thought he was going to do the whole, I'm driving myself. Y'all know he wasn't going to show up. It was going to be some reason he was going to be late. Y'all know he wasn't going straight to that thing because he was trying to just get out the building. He just didn't want to deal with no kids. So this is going to be his free time. So this teacher does the same thing. So she rides on the bus and she's, whatever. Y'all, right? He was going to do a pop-up, right? Like, oh, hey. So she's there too. So they tell me this chick, and I'm like, she don't know shit. She leaves from where they're at, where this field trip is. She decides I'm gonna go to McDonald's to have lunch. and then takes a student with her to go have lunch at McDonald's. Supposedly, she was saying she was going to take a group of students, but she wound up taking just this one girl. Now, because I wasn't on there, I can't say nothing. But I was like, what did she do? I said, what? It's like, do you not, you don't know how this works? And I was like, because they do these, they call it a walking field trip. And it's like a treat. And because there's a McDonald's that's like 3 or 4 blocks away from the school. But that's where permission slips. There's, people, and they only do one class at a time. Like a class might do this. If you feel like they've done really well, you can do this walking field trip and they can go have lunch or whatever. But I'm like, and like my case manager, he was saying, did you hear what she did? And so he didn't even see the real big picture. So he was like, yeah, you don't take nobody, anything can happen. I said, that's number one. Number one, you're taking this child off of the space that the parent thinks they're at. So you walking them down the street, anything could happen. Y'all could be crossing the street and somebody runs the light and hits y'all. And how do you can't even explain this because that child shouldn't even been in that space. They shouldn't have been there. They should have been in where they were supposed to be. That's number one. But I also told him, I said, the other issue is, and this is the bigger issue, whether you male or, and I think sometimes females don't get this point. Honey, that girl could have gone home and said, she took me out for lunch and she did this, and you about to lose your job. Because this child is saying you were sexual. They could say you was coming on to them anything. And you have no leg to stand on because you did take this child out of this area with everybody alone. That's why you can't put kids in your car. Because, kids would be like, oh, can I get a ride? Hell no. No. Because this is like policy. You cannot have children in your car. And it's, and you feel bad because you be riding past them and it's raining and they on the bus stop, but they're going to be on that bus stop. Because that you can't do that. And so he was like, because, from a safe, he was like safety, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But also you're putting yourself at risk to this child to be able to say anything they want about you. And you have not a leg to stand on because it's just you and them. And guess who they're going to believe? Because why did you take this child by themselves out of where they were supposed to be with the group so you could go spend quite a long time with them? Now, I don't think this is what happened, but that could be said about you, and you will lose your license, your livelihood. Even if you don't get on the list, you're going to lose your livelihood. I was like, hey, Birdie, I was like, Lord Jesus. And, like my daughter said, what was I supposed to say? Because she just came into like, oh, I'm just going to go to lunch and I'm going to take her with me and just, did her thing. No, boo. Mm-mm. That's not. And she's never mentioned it, because if she had mentioned it to me out of school, I'd be like, baby, don't you ever do that ever again. And let me give you the reasons why you ain't never gonna do that again. No. I'd have been like, no. Don't ever do that again, because your ass gonna be in trouble. So yeah, I was like, ooh, no. So yeah, but this one today, and let me tell you, she was hot when she came back. when I came back upstairs and she wasn't even coming out her room, she barely spoke. She was barely talking. And I knew it was because she was hot that she didn't get to roll up and get out of the school and go to that thing. I was like, oops, oops, my bad. It was, yeah. So that's what's been happening at this week in my job. I was like, oh. And you know what is always a bad look when you work in a school, and you don't even have to work in a school to see this as a bad look. A bad look for a person who works in a school is if your kid is at the school you work at and they acting a damn fool and doing shit. Because as educators, as teachers, we talk about this. These kids, this new breed of kid and their parents have a different relationship with their parents than we did. As I always say, a child has to have a healthy fear of their parents in order to facilitate them doing right, especially in school and things. And when I say a healthy fear, I don't mean they should be like, bah, but they fear the consequences of their actions when they do shit, right? We all feared our parents for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? My kids feared me. My son knew if I got to come in there, you gonna that look, it's about to go down, right? And don't get me wrong, your kid could be one of them kids who always doing some shit. But at least there should be a reprieve on the things they're doing when they get in trouble. Now they gonna slide back. It's gonna be some backsliding. But there should be some, like, once when you get in their ass, they should be like, oh shit, I ain't trying to get in trouble right now. Right? First off, the things that they think are okay and they should be able to do is totally different than what you did or your children probably did, especially if you're older. Because these kids will cuss a teacher out. Fuck you, get the fuck away from me. Fat bitch. Oh, they say all these things at us. So that tells you they don't have that fear. Because if I said shut up to a teacher, I knew my teeth was going to be rattled. My mom was going to not, and I'm saying this figuratively, but someone's going to be shook up on my ass for doing this. The level of disrespect. And then they can run home to their parents and say, he did this. And their parents will come up in the school hotter than fish grease, cussing you out, accusing you of doing something to their precious baby who's a motherfucker every day. So this is the shit you deal with, right? And so they don't have that healthy fear. However, if you are my child and I work at this school, you better have your ass in order, because you ain't going to embarrass me like this. Because I try to tell kids sometimes, the way you all act is a reflection on your parents. It's not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on your parents. And so when people see you as an adult and you acting a damn fool and you doing this constantly, no matter what we call your parents, you still doing it. That's a reflection on your parents. Now we looking at your parents with the side eye like, they ain't got no control over them. Because my son was doing stuff, and I'm not going to say my son, DJ was an angel. But the things that they do, he would never have done. He did kid shit, talk too much in class, things like that. He ran his mouth too fucking much, but he was never disrespectful to teachers. Now, they might tell him to be quiet. He might be quiet for a hot minute, and then he going to start talking. And then I got in his ass about that shit. And when DJ was at the high school, he left his Catholic school and went to public high school that I was working at. He knew your ass better keep it in order, because the rule in my house was don't embarrass me in public. And public was school too. So don't fucking embarrass me. And I went through a whole situation with my son doing shit. And I stayed on top of him. And I'm not saying he was perfect, but at least he knew if I was getting in his ass, he needs to calm that shit down. Now he might roll, but he might go back to it a week or two later. But now I'm back in your ass. These kids, you call their parents, oh, I'm toxic, I'm gonna get them. They come back the next day and do the same shit. So they don't have the healthy fear of the consequences at home, right? Because, and I mean, I could school them on how to, but they don't have, like, they can't hold the line on shit. And like I was telling a teacher today, and who doesn't have kids, I said, see, part of the issue is the parents won't do the things they need to do because there's pain points that these kids have. Maybe you yelling at them ain't gonna make no difference. But if you take their sneakers away, them Jordans that you spend all this money on, them dunks they love to wear, and go on to get them go to Walmart and get the ugliest, plainest shoes they gonna wear and make them wear them every day until you get your ass in order. Take away their phone, and don't take it away just for a few days. Your phone gone for a month. Oh, and if you get in trouble again, we're gonna add another month, because we have this thing now. They need their phones with them. They don't. We lived entire childhoods without a fucking phone. We was out in these. I know I was out in these streets without a damn phone. It's nice, the technology. Oh, yes, it's wonderful that you can reach them and everything. But sometimes you got to take some shit away from these kids to make them understand this is real. And you going to do what I say. All this shit you love and want, you ain't getting a goddamn thing. But the parents won't do that. See, they're not going to take away them shoes because, I bought them shoes. I pay for them. And the flex is, look at what I do for my kids and how nice they look. But they're fucking motherfuckers. So this is the kind of shit that we deal with all the time. But if you work in the school and your kids is doing shit, disrespectful and stuff, I'm really going to give your ass a side eye. And so there's somebody in the school, her son goes there and he's always in trouble. And she acting like, I'm going to whoop him. Girl, quit lying. You ain't got no control over his little ass. Because if I'm on the first floor and you on the third floor and you bad enough to act a fool, you must not fear me. Because I know if at that age, if I had been in the school with DJ, he wouldn't have done shit. Because he know damn well all they had to do was send me a message. I'll be right up there. Hold on, I'm about to take a quick break. I'm gonna embarrass your ass. Hell, I might even take a half a day so I can sit up with you in class every moment. Let's do this together. Because I did it to my son in middle school. He was late for classes. I'm like, how are you late for classes, you in this little school? Okay, son, I'm going to take a day off and I'm going to be waiting outside your classroom. Every time you change classes, I'm going to hold your hand and walk you to your next class. And to this day, his friends remember me doing this. See, because the embarrassment level is good enough. But you ain't got no fear. He stopped being late. I said, you need me to do this again? I said, nah, and then I'm losing money because I'm not at work. So that means something coming off the table for you. Not me, not Bianca. You. So some shit you want, I'm about to take it off the table because I had to miss work. I missed some money for your ass. It's like, come on now. But when you don't have that fear, when your kids don't have that fear, shit don't work. And that's the issue now with these kids. They really don't. They have no real fear. Cause like we got a kid, his mama coming to me like, I'm whipping your ass. And then he'd be like, please don't tell my mama. Well, I said, so if you worried, if you don't want to get in trouble, then why are you still doing things every day that get you in trouble? And you know it's gonna get you in trouble. You have enough self-awareness to know, I don't know, I just can't stop myself. That sounds stupid. All right, who's my top fans? Anisha, Michael, Courtney, Valencia. You know there's a top fans thing. Birdie and Sylvia. Probably because y'all the only people talking to me. Because it's like 20 people here, and ain't 20 people ain't said hello. Watch when I do this. Somebody's gonna get off. It's gonna drop to 19. It went to 18. I swear to God. This is something that has always happened when I do live streams. If I say the number and say people ain't spoke to me, at least one or two people, all of a sudden you lose one or two people in the audience because they like, fuck you, bitch. I'm not gonna speak to your ass. I am not gonna speak to you. And that's fine by I have got to wash my hair. I swear it happens every time. Wash my hair. They be like, I'm not speaking to your ass, bitch. We got a report card pickup Monday, which is going to be an incredibly boring day, but it's one day without kids in my face. So yes. And then you know what? The must on these kids is incredible. And they want to hug on you all the time. I be like, get off me. Listen, we used to work with, hi, Miriam. This boy hugged me the other day, and I felt like I was cloaked in must on my shoulders. I had to go I had to go spray myself or something. Because, you know, you got to keep your fragrances with you. And I was like, it was like, Jesus, right? It was like, good Lord. Now I stink. Whew, it was like, whew. They straight do be smelling like, and it ain't just the boys. The girls be smelling too, but the boys, they be smelling like grilled onions. They be smelling like onions, straight up. Just, what are those? Red onions, son? What's that? Huh. So, I have not had a date in 2025. Did I have one in 2024? No. Let me tell you, you cannot really tell them that they musty because these kids are so sensitive. You don't know which one gonna go home and tell his mama that you was calling him musty. Well, he stank. And I do need to I need to get individual little deodorants that they can have. Here you go. Here you go. Put this away. Honey, these kids are sensitive. They run home and tell on you all the time. Mommy, she said this. I call them all snitches. I be like, you know you a snitch, right? Y'all a bunch of snitches. They be like, Miss Carey, I said you snitch. Y'all do. That's what y'all live for. You snitch on each other. You snitch on yourself. We got a little boy. He snitch on himself too. He don't care. Right. Hi, Aliana. He will snitch on himself. I love this one. This is Dolly by Buxom. Right? Let me tell you. Listen, Bakari 5 years old. He had to wear deodorant because that boy, they do. You guys to be on their hygiene because that boy, we gonna get him something he can carry in his bag because that boy, he be living the best life. Whoa, okay. Huh. I'm just trying to say. You'd be like, whoa, what's going on with them pits? And I love that boy. I love that boy. Let me tell y'all, he found his costume. We were hiding it from him because my grandkids. I don't know if everybody else is like this. They're relentless. When they want something, they want it, and they're gonna keep asking you. They're relentless. And see, here's the thing about that. I get why how parents, because my son used to be that way. Relentless when they're gonna be up under you, but parents got to learn how to hold firm. If these little motherfuckers is doing some shit that they ain't supposed to do and they in trouble, stay firm. Because it's so easy with kids because they know, let me just keep fucking with you, keep picking with you, stay up under you, and then you're gonna give me my way because you're just gonna want me to go. Because my son used to try to do that shit. It's like you in trouble, okay, you're on punishment, you can't go out. And then he want to sit up under me and look pathetic and like, I told myself, if you don't get away from me, I'm gonna go in your fucking room. Go in your damn room. Because what you're not going to do, especially at their age, middle school, what you're not going to do is make my time difficult. You're not going to be in the house with me because you're in trouble and make my time at home uncomfortable and a misery. Your little ass going to go away to go sit in your room. No, I'm not logging off yet. You're going to take your little ass to your room, shut and leave me alone. And sit there and contemplate why your ass in the house. That's what you're gonna do. But if you know what I'm saying, and so because a kid will catch you like that, and you be like, "Go on, just go." No, see, I had to catch myself with my son like that, so I know how it works. Well, okay, first off, I know it's you, JC, with this little incognito name because you made that statement. So I know Cartier. So y'all know that's JC talking crazy. Some little alter ego thing he got going on. You know what I miss? I really miss late night trolls. I really miss late night trolls. Or unless this ain't because that move is usually a JC move. That I didn't. I bet you're about to log off. So if this is not him and this is actually a person named Cartier, excuse me, because I thought you was JC. But I think it's JC. Baby, it's getting cold here. I woke up this morning. It was 37 degrees outside. It was, let me say that again, 37 degrees outside. 13, 37, 37. And for you people who live in what I'm trying to let this no, that's not, there we go. And for you people who it warmed up to like 50 or so. For the people who do not live in cold weather areas, because this is like, oh, just running out to the car. I did just not did this to for me and Bianca did not warrant wearing a full coat. The kids had on coats, especially Bakari and Brooklyn because they're in school, so they go out for recess, so they had their big coats on. But just so you know, walking out the door, walking to the car, and it's like 40 degrees outside does not mean I need a coat. I just need a jacket on. So, now, when it gets cold outside consistently, where it's going to be like 30 degrees all day, yes, I'm going to put on my coat. But if it's like, I'm not wearing a coat. I'm just going to, tough it out. Yeah, just tough it out. Just walk on out there. We good. We good. We are good. Now, let me tell you something. I'm garden shaming people. Let me tell you, I am garden shaming people. Listen, people trying to act like be really big on talking about gardening now. It's trendy. It's trendy to say you're trying to grow some food. Everybody trying to be trendy and grow and say, you should grow, I'm growing something. And hey, Lord knows I'm in there. I'm in the trenches trying to grow some shit. I got 100,000 seeds sitting right there. I'm still trying to put them together. Um, you know what? Honestly, November isn't that cold. It probably won't be unless we're having unseasonable cold weather. It's going to be it'll be chilly, but it will not be freezing, Myriad. November is usually it really doesn't start getting cold, real cold until December. And when I mean real cold, I mean real cold. Like, I guess it's all subjective. Like it could be in the 40s and 50s during November. Down to the 30s at night, but during the day it's usually not that cold. It warms up pretty well. It's like after Christmas is when it gets cold. That's when the cold front hits. So to then I'm cool. But because as a person who lives here, of course I'm used to getting cold. We still don't like it. But it's not consistently like in the 20s and things like that. No. It'll probably be like, 40s and 50s, around the 40s, which is okay. That's mild. It's not too cold. So going in November. Don't go in January. I would never say go to visit somebody like me in January. Now, exactly. 30 degrees in Arizona is different than 30 degrees in Ohio. So that's not something you're used to. But when it comes down to cold, you're going to be cold, but you ain't going to be freezing. And there is a big difference between being cold and freezing. So go in November. Go in November. If you're going to go when it's cool out, go in November. Because trust me, November cold to you ain't going to be the same as January cold if you went there. Because January, you would really be questioning your life choice at that moment. Hell, I question mine, and because January is the season of 1 degree, 10 degrees, 20s on a good day. Snow. Because see, at least in November, you're not going to get any snow. And that's what you really want to avoid is the snow. Because baby, if it gets to snowing out there, you're going to be like, ah! Because it's very rare that it snows in November. It usually snows because sometimes it could not snow even up to Christmas here in Chicago. Now after Christmas, all bets is off. But we might not even have a really serious snow. And when I mean a serious snow that sticks, because you could have where it snows a little flurries, but it warms up enough so that it melts. You can have a little of that, but by January, and they already talking about it might be a polar vortex. I've heard that we might have one coming. So yeah, which reminds me, I'm gonna have to think about getting some backups. We don't normally have any issues around me with issues like electricity going out and stuff like that, but better be safe than sorry. Okay. So anyway, that was that. That just made me think about that. But yeah, so it's getting cold here, but yeah, I've been garden shaming because I've been seeing these people talking about gardening. You need to be gardening. You need to be growing some food. Like somebody said, it's a little late in the season to be telling people they need to grow some food. Honey, what they gonna do? What they gonna grow right now? Ain't that much they gonna grow. And it still takes time to grow shit. People act like you throw some seeds down 2 weeks later. It's like they think it's gonna be like Jack and the Beanstalk. We got some magic seeds. Throw them in, and then overnight you're gonna have like a stalk full of tomatoes. You're gonna throw some seeds down, and them damn carrots gonna come up. It takes time. And so I've been garden shaming a few because I'm like, stop. Y'all talking about it because it's trendy, because of, especially with the shit that with the SNAP benefits and what's gonna happen in November. It's like, because this woman on in Facebook. I'm about to be like, girl, stop talking about gardening when I ain't seen one picture of a plant that you done grew. And if you this big on talking about gardening, y'all need to listen and get y'all seeds and grow some stuff. If you're gonna post this kind of content, I know damn well if you were growing something, I would see 100 pictures of every stage of life of your plants. So don't play like you growing some shit. You're not growing a damn thing. I told y'all that was him. I told y'all that was him. I told y'all that Cartier was not him, was JC. I knew it was him. Cause I'm like, I haven't seen that name before, and I know it was JC. Now I should log off. JC, I was telling them that I've been loving At This Time. I've been wearing this for the last few days to bed, and I told them this is such a good lavender because you really don't get the lavender. Anybody scared of your little weak California hexes? You're from California. What you gonna do? You're gonna swear. What kind of hexes y'all do in California? No granola for you. No granola for you. My family from New Orleans. Okay, I get to voodooing on your ass too. Y'all be like, may you not have fresh fish for the next week. That's a California hex. May they tag it as organic, but it's not. See, this is what happens at late night. You fuck with me, I fuck with you back. Because I have really worked on being a better person online. I don't know how long that's gonna last. Right. No avocado on your toast this week. Honey, I done watched Serpent and Rainbow. You ain't scared me. May your acai bowls always be lukewarm. That's a good one, Nisha. Right? Because let me just tell y'all something. Can we talk about the smoothie bowls for a minute since you said that? I think the smoothie bowls are just genius marketing. Genius marketing. Because people like smoothie bowls. It's like, so basically a thick smoothie that you put in a bowl, and you're going to charge me extra, throw some granola on it. Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. Smoothie bowls are the most ingenious marketing. And that acai bowl, we're going to make it with acai. It's an extra thick smoothie thrown in a bowl and you eat it. I'm like, really? Okay. I like a smoothie bowl if I make it. I'm not going to pay you extra for it. That's my issue. But then again, I don't like to pay extra for stupid shit. That's why I'm like, are y'all crazy with these fragrance mists that y'all letting these perfume companies charge y'all $48, $32 for a fucking Bath and Body Works level fragrance mist? I don't care how good the shit smells. It's called a fragrance mist, y'all. It's basically alcohol with a little bit of fragrance in it, and it ain't and that shit ain't gonna change. So y'all gonna spend that when y'all could go and wait for Bath and Body Works to put some shit on sale and get it for $5.95. No, no, because that Chicago pizza is basically Bisquick and tomato sauce. Ooh, you coming for us, ain't you? See, what you're thinking about is that thing that they let y'all believe is Chicago pizza. Let me just put that to y'all. That's that nasty, thick crust, stuffed pizza, the Geno's pizza and stuff like that. Real Chicago people, we don't eat that pizza. We like our pizza thin crust. Like thin. Thin. Real Chicago people, we like ours, we don't eat them. That was an 80s and 90s thing. We don't no. They're gross. Them big old nasty pizza pies that are thick and they're gross. Nobody in Chicago really eats those. No, no. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. And then you ate at a right outside of mall. First time, when was you in Chicago? Wait a minute. Hold up. No, we eat thin crust. Mm-mm. Real Chicago folks, we eat thin crust pizza. Real talk. That thick crust shit, that ain't real. Nah. Okay, it was the 90s. Okay, because I was about to say, if you was there in 2024, I was going to cuss you clean out right now on this channel. Because I was about to say, you was in Chicago and I didn't hear from your black ass or your island ass or what California ass or whatever you want me to call you. I'd have cussed you clean out. Okay. Matter of fact, if any of y'all come to Chicago and y'all don't reach out to me, I'll cuss your ass out. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all didn't. I keep saying this. Y'all don't. Let me find the pricing. Let me find y'all some pricing on these. I will cuss y'all asses out. Just know I cuss you out. Just back and forth, front and back, around in circles. That's how much I cuss your ass out. Boom. That's how much I cuss your ass out. Okay. What is this? Oh, this is for her. I'm like, what is this right here? Okay, I gotta start putting away my stuff. Okay, I know yo. So speaking of that, you know these children still use. It so annoys me because they call this one boy you African, and I said like African boy and all this stuff. And I looked at because he's very dark skinned. His complexion, he has a dark complexion. And there's a beautiful girl in my school. I said, don't ever and I didn't say it in reference. I didn't want to put it out there like that. I said, don't you ever let anybody tell you you're not beautiful. Because she's so beautiful. She's got this beautiful skin. She's such a beautiful girl. And I hope that she continues to have that level of self-esteem because she is beautiful. And so they keep saying that. I said, what do y'all think? I said, so y'all really think that's an insult? I have not smelled Petra. I have Quattro Pizzi. I really like it. It's a coconutty tuberose. And I will always say it vibes like, but isn't any like Surzouton's the Tour Noir. The Tour Noir is a little more it's Surzouton. But Quattro Pizzi is like a much more laid back kind of vibe like that. So it's a coconutty tuberose. But the coconut is creamy, not super Like the coconut and Tour Noir is a little bit stronger. Right. They think it's an insult. And I said, you think that's an insult? I said, you need to look up what Africa looks like. I said, what do you think Africa looks like? I said, there's more money in Africa. I said, look up Accra, Ghana. I said, I make them look up. I said, let's look at some of the cities in Africa. I'm gonna have some on. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bookmark some, and every time I do that, I'm putting it on the Promethean board. This is what Africa really looks like. Yes, there are some areas that are still tribal, still that, but Africa look like Chicago, and some areas look better. I'm talking about black kids calling. No, that's some black kids on that. Okay, so let me see. Let me find these for you. Let me show y'all some that I'm like, you must be crazy. So let's look, and I'm looking at Ulta, and they're not even gonna they're not even gonna have the most expensive ones. So let me show y'all something. Let's look at some body mist pricing. Right. Everybody on the content ain't dark skin. Right. I'm about to pull up some Ethiopians and some Egyptians and some South African. Okay. So let's see. Now we already know the Sol de Janeiros are a little bit overpriced. Let's talk about a few that I've seen. The Born in Roma perfumed body mist is $66. $66. Now, Fenty has come out with body mist. Her mist, but look at this. Her body mist, which is 2.5 ounces, is $20. But people gonna buy it because they are really, I'm telling you, the women's side, baby, we stupid as fuck. The women's side of Fragcom is goofy as fuck. I'm just gonna put that out here. I ain't never even heard of this brand, but who the fuck is this? It's called Each and Every. Listen to this. 3.4 ounce body mist. Afterglow raspberry and mandarin natural fragrance body mist is $40. That's 100 ml. Body mist are supposed to be 8 ounces. You're supposed to have a big ass body. Come on now. Now let's go down the list. What is the concentration? Let's see. Can I see this? Now they don't say that. Come on now. They don't say that. I mean, because let's talk about it. The Sol de Janeiros, the 8 ounce is $39 all day long. That little one that you can get when you walking out Sephora is $26. Let me see what else. Who got one? Let me find the other ones. Oh, but they're regular size on the Fenties because they've got 3 of them. They are $35 for a 5.9 ounce. $35. Shit's insane. Hold on. Where's the other one I was looking for? How about this? Now, this is interesting to me. Sniff's 8 ounce body mist is $34. Their fragrances ain't that much. Mm-mm. Let's go look at Sephora and look at them Heal the Way, them Fleur ones. Nest 4.2 ounces, $39. The shit's insane. But once again, if people wouldn't pay for this shit, they wouldn't go this high. They would not have them like this. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Where my Sephora? Let's look at the fragrance mist on this list. Oh, and let me tell you, you know, clock it, clock it. Do you know these young people think, why you doing? It's like, do y'all know how long clock has been around? And where y'all getting this from? What culture you getting it from? Okay. So goofy. Body hair. Let's see. Let's see. Look at this. Now this is hilarious. Y'all, they got Salt and Stone, and everybody buys these things at. Isn't this the one that everybody buys them at Marshalls? Because I don't buy them damn body oils. Body and hair fragrance mist. They got the retail prices $45 from some Salt and Stone that you can always get it at Marshalls or TJ Maxx for like $10-$12. Hold on, let me find this. And let me tell you, look at this. Fleur think they slick. It's a body and hair fragrance mist. Oh, that's Sand and Stone. Baby, I don't know because I don't fuck with them. They stupid to me. Okay. Now let me tell you how they do this. They call this the Eau de Parfum spray for $38. This is a body mist. Let me see what they're saying. Like he said, what are they saying? So they're calling it but it's a hair and body mist. But then when you see it for they put Eau de Parfum spray. You lying? You lying? No, stop it. Why does Patrick Ty have a body mist for $44? You're not even in the fragrance. What does it smell like? I need to know. Bergamot, jasmine, and sandalwood. No. Okay, y'all ready? Did y'all know about this? Kayali Vanilla 28 body spray. Do y'all see that price? This is for 4.2 125 mil for $45 for a body spray. Mm-mm. Ellis Brooklyn, 3.4 ounces, and then they're gonna call it a eau de toilette spray, but it's a hair and fragrance body mist. See, that's what they playing with people. No, this shit's a fucking mist. I need $48. Kayali donates products to your job, and so you better send me some. That's the only way I'm gonna get them. Man, you better send me some shit. Throw some in the box for me. Oh, okay, I was wrong for that. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. So, I want to see what this is. So y'all, you remember I posted up about the high school here, Leo High School, the little young black man that was on America's Got Talent. They made it to the semifinals. They didn't make it to the finals. Well, now they've done I'm trying to see. They did a promo for Chicago Bulls. Let me tell you something. He has done so much because I'm an acquaintance of the principal. I actually worked with his mother years ago when I was young, and I love her. She was such a sweet lady. But he has done so much with that school because that school was dying when he got there. It was almost on the chopping block to be closed by the Catholic Catholic Church. It was on the chopping block, but he has really brought it back. He's doing big things, and them being on, and that's a hood, and that school is in the hood. Now, don't get me wrong, I done heard some shit to go on in there, but hey, he get them kids out and they doing well, so that's all there is to it. And for him and the choir director, baby, because I thought, listen, she didn't play that well because Simon was loving her. Listen, Simon was loving her. Did y'all see his interactions with her? He be all giddy and shit. Baby, I done worked that damn thing like a $2 hoe. Because a $2 hoe works hard. You gotta work hard if you working for $2. Baby, he would be giddy when he was talking to her. And as much money as Simon got, I'm like, you better be glad I wasn't a choir director. Shaka might not have been seeing me. That's the principal, because I'd be on my money on. I'm sorry. Y'all wonder what I'm spraying. This is that vanilla body mist that Monique sent me, and it's been sitting on my desk this whole time, and I forgot all about it. This smells good. See, I knew you was gonna ask. This is a vanilla body mist, and now her prices make sense. She has a lot of vanillas, baby. Every time he'd be and you notice she was conducting from his side. Baby, he'd be so happy. Honey, let me tell you something. If nothing else, Simon would have sent me on a trip, because they'd have been like, I'm so stressed out. Oh my God, this is, I'd have been in his ear. I'd have been in that man's ear, honey, talking. Because it ain't nothing to help her out. Because she ain't making no money. Let me tell you this. I know how much these Catholic schools pay. She ain't making no money. I can promise you, she ain't making no money, because I know how much the Catholic schools pay. Veteran teachers at a Catholic school might make 60, 65. And we're talking about you've been teaching forever. That's why I would never work. Baby, but Lindsay, the way he was all giddy and shit. See, I tried ULuuu years ago, and it was too much. That old school ULuuu, but let me tell you something. And I gotta say, because I haven't smelled it recently, because like Obsession back in the day, you knock your own damn self out. Spraying that on. And the original Poison, because I got Poison when it first came out. Whoo, baby, that thing was a thangin'. It was thangin'. It was thangin'. ULuuu always did remind me of, oh, that was a very mature fragrance when I couldn't make that one happen. I could not make that one happen at all. It smells, ULuuu feels very oily to me, which sort of like what, I think they've lightened it up. What is it called? It is Prodigy Le Parfum. That has like a oily quality to it, but ULuuu takes it to another level. ULuuu takes it to another. Ain't nothing ain't nothing youthful. There's nothing youthful about ULuuu. Never was, never will be. Mm-mm. Can't do it. I can't remember if I wore it back then, but I like Jungle Gardenia. At this point, I probably wouldn't have liked it back then because it wasn't my style. Back then, I was wearing them big fragrances. When I was young, these were my fragrances. Coco by Chanel. Coco, when it first came out, I wore Coco. I wore, I wore Obsession and Poison. Right. Yeah, you could, that's something you could not, old school Poison and Obsession, you could not overspray. Them bitches would knock you out. If you oversprayed yourself, you would fall out. And I used to wear Fendi, the original Fendi perfume. Ooh, baby, you couldn't tell me nothing. Those are the four. And then Angel, when Angel came out, those are the things that I really wore when I was younger for years. Definitely Fendi was definitely one. But like I said, Poison I couldn't wear after I had kids because my body chemistry had changed and it smelled like roach spray on me. It smelled like Raid on me, so I couldn't mess with it. But I always wore Fendi for years. I wore Angel for years. And I wore Obsession. I like them big old fragrances. And I was like into ambers and heavy, things like that. That's why it's so funny that I don't like sweet fragrance because baby, I wore Angel to death. You couldn't tell me nothing. And at 18, I was wearing Coco. I smelled like I was 45 and I was smoking cigarettes. Like I was smoking cigarettes. Because everybody, when I was young, what everybody was buying back then was Paris by YSL. All the girls in my school, they all wore Paris. That was a big girl fragrance. Because it's so interesting that you can tell the things what we put out here for these children. Because remember when we were young, it was a progression to things you did. We didn't have, well, of course, there was no such thing as Bath and Body Works when I was young in high school. But there was for us to wear perfume, we were wearing stuff like Love's Baby Soft and Gina Tay and things like Charlie, the inexpensive stuff like that. To get into fragrances like designer fragrances, you were in high school toward the end because that was like young women started wearing it senior year, real talk. And then it was Paris. Everybody was wearing Paris. Now, before then, when I lived with my older sister, I used to wear her Chanel No. 5. So I still have a thing for Chanel No. 5. And I wouldn't wear her Opium because Opium. That was hardcore too. Hardcore fragrance. And so, the Baby Soft commercials are terrible, but I did wear them. And then So everybody was wearing Paris. So you know me. If you know me now, I am who I am, and I was that person then. It was like, oh, let me go find something different because I'm not gonna be spelling like all of y'all. Y'all running around. Oh, I got Paris, and they were all got their Paris. Oh, right, OG, because my mom wasn't a perfume person, so I didn't get to do it like that. So but so I went to the store and I was looking around, and that's when Coco came out. Coco came out like in 1984. So I went and got me some Coco. You couldn't tell me nothing. That was my big girl scent, my first one that I paid real money for. I remember I paid like $80 for that bottle. You couldn't tell me nothing. Then I got Obsession. And then I remember Poison was coming out because he used to say Poison is my potion. And I used to tell people, what are you wearing, Poison? Because it's my potion. I was always so dramatic and extra. So yeah. And it's so funny because like my best friend, she was a JPG classic person. So she wore JPG. So I never wore Gaultier back in the day because that was her fragrance. And to this day, my friend wears it. It's so funny. I said, they got flankers. She wore what was it called? And she still wears it to this day, Calvin Klein Eternity. I told her, I said, they got flankers. You might want to try it. There's something you might want to try something a little different. She still I'm like, girl, we're 59, 50, not 59, we're 58. You've been wearing that shit for 30 something years. Can you get another something? But she still buys Eternity by Calvin Klein. I'm like, that's some stick to it to some shit. What was my first thing that I fell in love with? Honestly, my first love was Love's Baby Soft. I bought that. I used to go to this little drugstore in my house. I was such a weird kid. I told y'all I was a weird kid. Let's talk about the weird. These were my weird kid things I did. I told y'all I used to walk backwards. Things you should not tell people in real life. I used to walk backwards sometimes to the store. I just, not everywhere. I only walked backwards by myself to the store. And on Sunday mornings, I used to like make myself tea and listen to classical music for at least an hour or two. And I'd be there drinking my tea, feeling very English. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. And for a while, I used to go to this drugstore and I used to just sit there and try things. And Love's Baby Soft, because the first thing I bought was Gina Tay, the Splash, because you could only get Gina Tay in the Splash. But then I smelled Love's Baby Soft. It smells so soft and powdery. Baby, you couldn't tell me nothing. I bought that when I was like 12 years old. That was like 7th or 8th grade. I think I bought it in 8th grade. So I was about 13. Yeah, because that's where we lived when I was in Richmond Park. And you couldn't tell me nothing. Because I used to go into this little drugstore and just go in there and play with the fragrances and try on the makeup, the little samples they had. I'd be in there trying on lipsticks and stuff. You couldn't tell me nothing. And I used to do this all by myself. No, I always did this that was my, I used to just go by myself, walk over to the store and just look at stuff. I was a weird little kid. I admit it. I was a very weird kid. I think it came from, the fact that my siblings are so much older than me, and then my mom likes to move a lot. So a lot of times I was in new spaces, and So I didn't know that many people. So I became my own best friend, especially when I was young, because my mama could be like, okay, we're out. And it's not like now where they have cell phones and stuff. So it was like I I would I had me to play with, because not like, just not like we were calling each other on the phones or anything like that. That wasn't a big thing when I was a kid, especially back then, like 12 and 13. That's when you started calling people. But like before then, I was always by myself. So I was content in my own um with my own company. So, I didn't need anybody. So I made up, like, I had games and I played myself. I played like games and I played myself against myself. Whoa, I was weird. Hey, I ain't had nobody to play with, so I played with. Okay, y'all, it's like 12:30 here. Let me go and go to sleep, because these little kids, my best friends, wake up early and look for me. Where's my Gigi? I want my Gigi. I love that little girl, but she be on me. On me. You can tell you young because you could remember the 976 lines. But do y'all remember when they used to have a Santa Claus line? Oh yeah, I love her too. Let me tell y'all the cutest thing, and I have to watch myself. Because Brooke goes, see, he all about to get, how I say goodnight, and it take me a minute to get off. Brooke goes to the school we work at. I told you they have the creative arts and things like that. A couple of those classes are on the floor that I'm on the third floor, the art teacher and stuff, right? And sometimes I'll be standing out waiting for my students, and Brooke's class is coming up the stairs to go to their creative arts class. And so when she sees me, she gets to smile and she just waves, and I'll be like, don't say nothing, because they're supposed to be quiet and quiet. I'm just like, hey Brooke, and she be like, now the other little kids wave at me. So they all looking back for me and they all waving at me. I'm like, hey, because Brooke be like, that's my Gigi. They all know that's our Gigi. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my baby girl though. And I spy on her during recess, her last recess of the day, because that's my indicator she's in trouble. She's acted right. If I don't see her outside at recess, I know Brooke done acted a fool today. She ain't do something right. So, but when I see her out there, it's so funny seeing kids playing in the recess time, because baby, she be running back and forth. Some days she get in the car and pass out. She didn't wore herself out. Reeve Gauche. Ooh, you know what? A fragrance that I never bought back then, but my cousin had it, was Anais. Anais. Do y'all remember Anais? Anais. I used to love their commercials because they were all like fresh and floral, so extremely girly. I remember I always wanted that one. Reeve Gauche. That one always seemed, that was giving to me, it was too much. It was something about the Reeve Ghost that I really never really looked at. It was something, I don't know. I always like, I think I always thought that it's too grown for me, even though I was wearing Coco. Oh, you could, even though I was wearing Coco, I thought that was just, I don't know, that's too much for me. I'm wearing Coco Poison Obsession, and Reeve Ghost was too much for me. I don't know. We have our ways. But yeah, I always wanted it and I would spray it on at the store, but for some reason I never bought it. But I mean, Anais was so pretty. Joan Collins Scoundrel. Oh, yes. Yes, honey. Joan, that was one of the first, no, that Joan Collins came out after Elizabeth Taylor. I could never get into White Diamonds either, or Passion, or Passion. Remember, it was like, well, White Diamonds. We know White Diamonds was the one. Ooh, okay, Halston. You know what I always think about Halston? Was Halston Z14. That was what the guys wore. But like I will always tell you, back when I was young, if a man wore Fahrenheit, if a is if a young man wore Fahrenheit, he was getting some. In my 20s, if I am so glad that not enough men wore Fahrenheit, because I'd have had 10 kids. I'd have had 10 kids. Because Fahrenheit, something about that fragrance. Something about that fragrance. I smell that, and you might as well just say, go and give me some. And I go, okay. That was the sexiest male fragrance to me back when I was young. Fahrenheit. I remember when men, you remember Polo, all of them wore Polo. I felt they elevated when they went to Halston Z14 from Polo, because Polo was like the first fragrance that when in high school all the guys were wearing. They was all wearing Polo, and then they get that Halston Z14. I'm okay, but when they hit Fahrenheit, if a man wore Fahrenheit when I went out on a date with him, he played his cards right. He was getting some pussy that night. Listen, let's just throw it out there. That's exactly what he was getting. He was getting some pussy that night. He'd had to do something really stupid now for me to be sitting there contemplating it the whole night. Now I'm not gonna tell him, but I would think, just say the right thing. You getting this? You getting this tonight, sir? All you gotta do is say a couple of words right, because you got me already thinking about it because you're wearing the Fahrenheit. Ooh, Jupe, I didn't like that either. Mm-mm. Yeah, because remember, I remember all the guys were wearing Jupe. What is it called? Yope? Is it called Yope? Is that the real name of it? Because remember they all say Jupe. But isn't it Yope? But they wear some Fahrenheit, especially in my early 20s. That was it. That was all. It was a wrap. Wrap me up tight, sir. You'd had to do something real stupid not to get none. Because it wouldn't take too much for you to do. For me to be like, sure, let's go to your place, sir. But half of them didn't have places, so that's how they didn't get it. Because remember, baby, them early 20s, all the men lived at home. Oh, yeah, I was over. Cool water was a thing too, and I was tired of cool water on men because every man wore cool water. That's why it's so interesting how we are with fragrances now, because people wore fragrances. Baby, they wear them to death. They wear them out. You know, we will wear them to death. You know, and of course, the money was different, whatever, but it just wasn't, we wouldn't buy them like this back then. People would have their signature scent, and that's what they wore. Because like my sister, my oldest sister, now my other sister, she does not wear fragrance really. But my older sister, Chanel No. 5 and Opium. And I don't know. My sister wore opium forever. I don't know if she still does. You know, that's the littlest witch. You know, that's the littlest witch, Eastwick. But I don't know if she still does. But are these my old ones? Sorry. Ooh, curve. Now, one thing that I did get into really young also was the Body Shop oils. But I'm talking about the one in California. The one that was in Berkeley on Telegraph Avenue. Did you hear me say that? Did you hear me say that, JC? You was in there. I was. Nina Richie's La Air du Temps was, oh, yes. Because that was the first body shop I went to. Was on Telegraph Avenue. See, now you know I really did because I went to Berkeley High for a year. Right. Yeah. You just had that one or two fragrances and that was it because that's what you wore all the time. Yeah, they did. They sold their name to the body shop. They did. But yeah, I used to be hanging out on Telegraph Avenue when I was living because I went to Berkeley High one year, my sophomore year in high school. And I was always in Berkeley over there because my sister lived in Oakland. But you live by Lake Mirror, don't you? China Rain, that's the one. Yes. Now that you said that, yes. That was the one that I loved from Body was China Rain. Yes, I remember the one on Shattuck Avenue too. Yes. I remember that one too. Mm-hmm. Oh, you moved up, but living on Merritt, Lake Merritt was like living. I remember. Let me tell you this for the people who live in that area. This is what was it called? What's the area that it used to be? But you didn't grow up over there. What was the area? There was an area in because my sister, I think she lived in East Oakland. It was called the Acorns. China Lily was good too. The Acorns. The Acorns was considered their like public housing. Now I remember it was called the Acorns, if I'm not mistaken. And so I remember they're now okay. So I remember people like, oh, they live in the Acorns. They live in the Acorns. They was like, they live in the Acorns, right? So they were rough. They were semi rough then too. But okay, it's West Oakland. I lived in East Oakland, but don't you go through West Oakland to get to Berkeley? Like, because I lived in Oakland, but I went to Berkeley High, and I used to, and apparently so the Acorns, right? And I used to take one of them buses. I used to take the bus to school, and so people be like, "Oh, they live in the Acorns. They live in the Acorns, right?" And so I was like, "Oh, okay," because so I come from Chicago. Okay, let's remember this. Have you ever seen Chicago public housing? I do remember Cody explanation. So I so I'm, I come from Chicago. And so I'm used to Chicago public housing, which are uh, you know, high rises a lot. And they look like prisons, right? So I promise y'all, I rode past the Acorns for months. And I used to look at them and like, dang, those some really nice apartments. So I was like, oh, I kept looking at these apartments because they were like, nice. They had, they had the 3-story apartments. They looked nice to me. I was like, those are some really nice looking apartments. Because in Chicago, public housing, I'm sure it's a much rougher look now, but even in the 80s, our public housing had been here forever too. So I was like, and so then somebody said, yeah, that's the Acorns. Finally, it took me months to find out that was the Acorns. This is what they called the public housing. This is the rough area. And I looked at them, I said, you could tell we in California. I said, because that ain't public housing to me. I mean, like, we have an area called Augill Gardens, which is townhomes. Baby, them things look rough too. They scary looking too. They're south of me, right? But I'm saying, like, if you see what public housing look like in Chicago, and you think about I was like, listen, I was like, I used to laugh. I was like, y'all don't know public housing. Not through. And I'm sure it's rough. But I was like, y'all, this ain't public housing, y'all. Even with, like, close to me, there's what's it called? It's Parkway Gardens. It's this area called Parkway Gardens. Baby, they had to, like, clink it down because it's also called O Block. They had to shut it down, baby. They got where they have to go through. They have guards at the entrance. They had to put fencing up. They got to, they trying to keep it together because that is wild as hell. When you hear about these young rappers that are from Chicago, they're from, most of them, Parkway Gardens, which was down the street from where I used to live. But it's like that area is like, even them, and they have like the 3 or 4 stories. It still didn't look like shit. Like, it still didn't look as nice as those did back then. But I will say this. I think also things like that look a little tougher in Chicago because it's cold. I think, the changes in weather makes things just look a little more weathered. Because I was like, this what y'all call the projects? It was like, them the projects. That's the Acorns. That's the projects. I was like, I'm looking at the damn things like, dang. I'm sitting here thinking, like, my sister should be looking into these apartments because they look better than hers at the time. Because okay. I was like, I'm sorry. Listen, Cabrini Green used to be so rough over there. I remember one time me and my brother were riding through there to go someplace. Baby, these young girls walked and just, like, walked in front of the car. Even my brother said, these little girls look so tough. I'm scared because they look like they was gonna shoot us. And my brother was a grown man. We was both grown. He was like, damn, it make you go, okay, just let you go and live your life. Cause see what happened. I said goodnight, and I've been on here for 20 minutes more. I'm out. I gotta go to sleep. I'm going to sleep now. Good night. Good night. I don't want to go nowhere that looks like that. I don't even want to go there in my own city. I'm just saying, back in the 80s, this was like 1983, we're talking. I was like, this ain't as bad as y'all making it out to be. It was like 1982 I'm talking about. So no, honey, I don't want to go nowhere look crazy. I stay away from them spaces. I told y'all my favorite jerk place is right across the street from O Block. Yeah, and we Uber Eats because we ain't going over there to pick it up. That's how I live. I'm too old for that shit. All right. Good night, y'all. See you later.